On this episode of Kingdom Mogul Conversations, I sit down with technical engineering recruiter Darylyn Walker. We'll address the art of job hunting and how to be a leader in your industry. This and more on Kingdom Mogul Conversations.
So what are Fortune 500 companies looking for in a potential candidate?
Well, it varies. It all depends on what field that candidate may be looking for, but everyone wants someone who's professional, who's polished, and who knows what they should be doing on the job.
Can you share a success story of someone you helped get a job?
Sure. So I was working for another company before, and I had a candidate who came in. They were in a position where they were being laid off from their job. It was just a workforce reduction, so it wasn't anything on their part. They explained their story to me. I walked them through pretty much restructuring their resume, assisting them with their resume and their interviewing, doing mock interviews with them, going over the job descriptions that I had available for them, and pretty much assisting them through the entire interviewing process. At the end, they were able to get the job, and now they're successfully working in an industry and not just having a job.
Why do you think you're good at what you do? What brought you to this point?
Well, I really enjoy assisting people who don't know. I think that sometimes it is a lack of knowledge and a lack of resources that puts people in a position where they may not have a job or they may not understand an industry or any specific thing. So I really enjoy helping people understand what it takes to get to the next level in their career.
What are the top 3 mistakes that you typically see over and over and over again with somebody who's applying for a job?
Sure. So your resume is pretty much the first thing that a hiring manager or HR representative or recruiter will see. So most of the time there's spelling errors, the resume isn't formatted correctly, and pretty much it's just not a good overall presentation. I really do suggest investing in getting your resume rewritten and having someone proofread it and go over everything with them. So that's one major thing that I see. Also, sometimes when you're in the interviewing process, not actually researching the company that they're interviewing for. So they may not understand the history of the company, the scope of the job description, or what their job title would entail. So really being able to do your research on the company, why you want to work there, and why your skill set will be a specific asset to the company. And 3, also being polished when you go into the interview. Really understanding that you need to have professional wear, professional shoes, professional hair, everything. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that as well.
Tremendous points. I've made at least one of those mistakes before.
We all have. We all have.
Right. So you were talking about resumes, right? There are various types of resume formats: the chronological, the targeted, the traditional. Mm-hmm. So which one should a person look to when they are submitting their resume?
Well, I suggest that you have more than one resume. So you may be applying for 3 different jobs at 3 different companies that could call for a different type of resume for each position. Just because each job, even though it may be the same position, an office manager at company A could be totally different from B and C. So they may call for a different type of software that you may have used. They may call for a certain type of anything. It just really depends on the job. So I always suggest rewriting, reformatting your resume for each individual position that you apply for. You always want to add keywords and things that the job description holds into your resume.
How do we know which type of resume to present?
You really don't know. So you really have to sit down, go through the job description, sit down with a professional or someone who has experience in it, and let them guide you. There are also a lot of resume examples online that you can Google to get an idea of what a good format you would want to have for your resume.
So how does social media impact a person's job search?
Social media is a large part of the new generation of job searching. Most companies, especially Fortune 500 companies, even if your account is blocked, even if you have a name that's an alternate alias to who you are, they can still find you. So I always suggest keeping your your Facebook or Twitter or whatever social media that you use, I always suggest keeping it as if your mother or your father could read each and every post that you put on there. You always want to have a professional persona, and you never want anyone to read anything or find anything that could hold you back from the next step of your career.
If a person is looking to switch careers, right? In the old days, you can be on the job for 20, 30 years. That's not happening anymore.
Right.
So if a person was interested in switching careers, they still have their faculty, they're still sharp, they still want to work. What are some steps they can take to start making that transition?
Well, I actually did transition, so I know firsthand that it can be difficult to transition from one career to the next. I would definitely, one, do your research, understand what skill set it takes to be able to transition from one career to the next. Two, if you are able to, try to find an internship or some type of practical working opportunity where you can go in and get some on-the-job training, whether it's for free, whether it's an internship or any type of training that you can get, so that when you do present your resume, when you want to change fields, you have a little bit of that experience that you can garner from. Also, sometimes I think that we don't understand that when you're changing from one career to the next, they could be totally different. So we may have to start a little bit lower than where we were and work our way up. But most of the time what happens is that when someone starts a little bit lower than where they were, they usually end up going up a little bit faster than others. So sometimes we have to take a step back and understand that this is a new learning process for us, and let's just go in, see what we can do, and work really hard and get back to where we were, and we could end up higher than where we were in our previous career.
You're a mother, you're a wife.
Yes.
How are you preparing them right now to be able to be attractive in the workforce?
Well, one thing that we do at home is that we do a lot of work at home as far as schoolwork. So even though they learn in a classroom, we do a lot of extra writing and reading at home. We put them in a lot of extracurricular activities to understand their strengths at a young age. I can already see in my youngest son that he's very analytical, and he's 4. He loves electronics. He loves to figure out things. He can put puzzles together. He can do those types of things. He likes working with his hands. So all of his extracurricular activities will focus on those types of things because he will enjoy those. My other son has other talents and abilities, so he'll be put into those types of activities. I think that life is always a learning experience, and the earlier as an adult you can start to delve into activities and things that you enjoy, you'll start to kind of figure out what you enjoy, what you want to do, and what you want to actually invest in once you go to college to learn more about to start your career.
What I'm hearing you talking about is finding your passion. Like what do you enjoy? What is your lane? What are your strengths? So how important is that to a person who's looking for a job? Like if a person like me who is a creative, I need space. I need to spread my wings at some times. But for me, working in a cubicle, I would die in a cubicle, right? So how important is that for a person to understand who they are, what their lane is, what their strengths are when they're looking for work?
It's very important because you want to have a passion about whatever company you're investing your time and your talent into. You want to have a vision for yourself so that when you see the mission and the vision and the values of the company that you're applying for, you can say, this honestly lines up with what I want to do. And then you're more convincing in an interview. And even if you don't have the skill set or the ability or the background that they're looking for, they may see that passion in your eyes and they may say, we want to take a chance on him.